What's up? This is your friendly neighborhood rabbit, Jax, and you're watching Miko's BLT video. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go film my bit for episode 3. I'm all alone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the amazing digital tour, The Second Coming. I'm your host, Miko, and I'm joined by the wonderful...
OKR 2004.
Or as many would like it, many of you would like to comment, and I personally want to do, because we just watched Digital Circus, Palm the Art. Hi.
Oh.
Who am I, Jax Coy then? Does that make me Jax Coy?
No, you're too good of a person to be Jax.
Thank you. Anyway, thanks for the compliment. Well, so last time we covered week 1 recap and week 2 predictions, and week 2 finished, and week 3 is ultimately started with a couple of games under our belt. So week 2, remember what we said about week 1 being the week of unclean games?
Yeah?
Well, week 2 was the upset week, because there has been noticeably a lack of upsets from week 1, but week 2, oh my god, there are some upsets that we are definitely going to be talking about in great detail, and most of us are pretty shocked about it, right?
Yeah, perhaps, some of our comments from, last week regarding some of these quote-unquote very unfavorable matchups for some people, perhaps those did not age well.
Those did not age well, and definitely they turned our predictions on our heads, and most of the predicts were wrong. Though, like, everyone's, you thought, oh, this is a slam dunk winner for a heavy favorite to win, but no. The match itself, when you actually watch the match itself, the victory turned on its head. So, let's take a closer look at everyone's performances from last week, shall we?
Yes, let's shall. That did grammar right.
You did grammar right, and I apologize if I sound a bit nasally. I am still not recovered fully. I will get better, hopefully. So, first off, we got the Phantom Trout beating the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes in a 6-4 win. But there are some things that happened that we'll like to talk about. First off, we got Botsy versus Ferenia. This one was a pretty hot game at first. I think they started out pretty strong for Ferenia, actually. It was a pretty hard start for them, because Terra Water Golden...
Yeah.
Go
yeah,
on.
I was gonna say, Goldengo looked really good at the start.
Yeah, as you can see here, the Goldengo especially did well, being Terra Water and eliminating Gouging Fire. However, turn 4 saw Botsy return the favor by beating Gliscor with Kyurem's Freeze Dry, which came about as sort of a switch-in play, as you can see right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that was an intentional sack, because,
Or, you know...
you wouldn't switch that into a Kyurem otherwise, right?
Or, you know, maybe it could have predicted an Earth Power or something, because... Well, Goldengo... no, that would make sense, because Goldengo already Terra Watered. But, hey... Maybe it was an unintentional sack, or intentional sack that just... didn't provide the best results. After a few turns, though, Botsy then had Iron Valiant, which soundly defeated Ferenia by close combating both the Goldengo and the Tinglu while warding off most of Skarmory's attacks, leading to Botsy getting the win.
I was a little confused as to why Botsy continued to stay in with Tinglu on the Iron Valiant, but I guess they didn't really have too many options.
Yeah, I don't think so. Especially after this turn. Maybe Skarmory wasn't useful enough to take a close combat, or hell, even Dragapult might have been a great switch in otherwise, but no, Tinglu just stayed in and took the CC.
I feel like this matchup was rough because like it felt like
was.
it felt like every real offensive mon that came in from Botsy was just a threat to literally Ferenya's entire team somehow.
Yeah, all the most offensive breakers on Bati's team really put the pressure on Ferenya. Unfortunately, Ferenya is 0-2, and I am sad.
Me too.
Next
I
up,
find it funny how you just sniffed after saying you're sad. It makes it sound like you're crying.
I'm sad. Okay. All right. Next up, we got the other SVOU game. We got 3D versus Mimikyu Stardust, which caught me by surprise that 3D won. But looking at the game itself,
Nah, I don't think you should be surprised. That was sort of a 50-50.
but in the favor of 3D. I thought Mimikyu Stardust had added in the bag after week one's loss but strong defeat. Looked good in defeat. This one didn't look too good in defeat this time because 3D absolutely demolished Mimikyu Stardust. So once again, 3D demolished Mimikyu Stardust. The Goldingo's Grassy Seed Nasty Plot set was enough to beat Slowking and and the Ogre Pawn becomes the MVP of this game, having Play Rough for Dragapult and Mandibuzz, Trailblaze to boost its speed against Excadrill in Sand, and Ivy Cudgel just for dealing good damage.
I think Mimikyu Stardust would have had a bit more of a chance if this wasn't the only Trailblaze Wellspring Ogerpon known to man.
You think because wait, Wellspring is the only thing that carries Trailblaze? What?
What? No, I said the only Wellspring Ogerpon, the only Ogerpon Wellspring with Trailblaze known to man, because I've never seen this.
Well, it's good. Well, Ogerpon's usually pretty fast, but under sand, against sand teams, it can struggle because Excadrill is just a monster. But here, Ogerpon was played well. Like the Trailblaze absolutely carried him.
Another thing that really didn't help Mimikyu Stardust was that one of his main breakers was absolutely walled by the combination of Goldingo and Wellspring Ogerpon.
Right.
That Specs Keldeo.
Yeah, that team synergy really helped 3D ward off that potential damage dealer in Keldeo. It really wasn't given enough chance to be sent out in order to do good damage against an Ogerpon.
In general, Mimikyu Stardust team is kind of weird.
It's a sand team, but it's not a very well built sand team.
No, like 4 out of 6 of these mons are UU.
What, Mandibuzz and
Mandibuzz, Keldeo, Hippowdon, Excadrill.
Those are all UU. It's weird, yeah, but
Yeah.
they can sometimes work. It just doesn't work in this situation.
Oh wait, actually Hippowdons are you.
Yeah, weird, right? When that's
And yeah, Mandibuzz, Keldeo, and Excadrill are UU.
weird. Power creep really got to Hippowdon. Anyway, next up, Ubers. We got 7U992 versus Genius from Hoenn. Now, let's go through this, shall we? As the bum predicts do say otherwise. 7U had oh no, sorry, Hoenn actually had the upstart in this one. Arc Ground getting a crit off Koraidon, as well as substitute stalling against Gliscor, which was good, which were pretty good strats, all things considered.
I don't think 7U992 was worried about that because it's not like the Arc Ground could hit it super hard.
Yeah, it really didn't. It has to rely on the D-Dance because I believe that particular set is what? HP and defense oriented in terms of investment?
I don't know. But probably. Probably, considering Earthquake wasn't even enough to break the sub on that thing.
Which is interesting. But yeah, things ultimately turned out to 7U992's favor because the Koraidon, once the Koraidon was paralyzed by Arceus Fairy in turn 14, it really turned the tables on Genius from Hoenn at that point, because, oh no, Koraidon's paralyzed, what can he do now? And then 7U992 started to play a lot better. At that point,
the way I see it, he was consistently playing well.
But he really amped up the pace once Necrozma got in, because it became the MVP in that game. So getting off a D-Dance, and then despite getting taunted to prevent it from further setting up, still managed to sweep the rest of Hoenn's team, Terra Grounding against an Agility Miraidon. In the end, so there it is, there's the Agility Miraidon coming into play with the Terra Ground Necrozma, backing it up, getting the Earthquake, and ultimately winning the game. Very decisive.
Yeah, basically 6-0ing him.
Yep. That Terra Ground Necrozma, really threatening. Alright, next up we got Riche versus Mimilucha in UU. Mimilucha...
Oh, I was shocked when I watched this the first time. Mimilucha brought some tech.
He brought some tech, and my god, did he destroy poor Riche in this. A very unique variant of Sand, as I put it in my notes. Tyranitar knockoff and Ice Beam to kill Hydrapple was the start of a really unique way of dealing with it. And of course, that Ice Beam ultimately killed Hydrapple. I don't know if Hydrapple's especially defensive. I think it's more used to physical because people carry Rocky helmets.
It's a Pokemon, but I think it has better physical bulk.
Yeah, makes sense. And that's why Tyranitar ultimately ass blasted it with one Ice Beam. Jeez. Then there was the Weather Ball Tornadus, which killed Thunder.
The Weather Ball Nasty Plot Tornadus, yeah.
Weather Ball in Sand, being super effective because it's rock type, and killed Tornadus in that, just like that. And of course, Terra Electric Excadrill, sweeping the end game, getting off a Sword Stance before killing Riche's own Excadrill, Tornadus, and Slowking in order to take the win.
Why did he Terra anyway? Into Terra Electric?
He just wanted to show off the tech. I don't know. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm faster than you in Sand Rush.
Oh, I guess he wanted to tank a Scald or something. Yeah.
Tank a Scald or a Hurricane, because Tornadus.
No, Slowking was in when he Sword Stance and Terra'd.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it just prevented that from happening, and then boom. Alright, so well done, Mimilucha. Making good on that promise of bettering yourself after that lucky-ass win from last week. But, yeah.
I think we literally said that this is a 100-0 matchup.
And surprisingly, the 100-0 was favored on Arcanine numbers, beating just Franco, ending Franco's undefeated streak from 2 years.
This was Franco's first loss in BLT period.
And it was against Arcanine 1929. He is the Brock Lesnar. He did go 21-1. He beat the streak. Okay, wrestling jokes aside. This one was a weird long game. Palisand immediately put on work by burning Quagsire twice via Scorching Sands, even though Hex didn't even kill it once. Like, yeah, you got burned, but man, for Quagsire to live hits off of Hex, that was pretty interesting. It seemed, though, as if Franco was always one step ahead against Arcanine in terms of play, healing off any status conditions when necessary, and defogging any hazards that may affect him long term. Which was good, which was very good. However, after 80 turns of play, this was a long game, guys, Arcanine started picking apart Franco's team. Having Chansey run out of Soft Boiled for safe recovery against Gastrodon, Mach being kept unpreserved for the most part, only taking hits from Mian Xiao's U-turn, Milotic having to deal with a lot of paralysis. Those are just the examples that I've noticed. I don't know if you saw any Poke Art.
Any what exactly?
Any examples of like Arcanine, like slowly picking apart everything that Franco had?
Well, according to some comments about the game, Franco just had a terrible matchup from the start.
I mean, I guess his team isn't exactly well prepped.
Yeah, it was mainly because of Mian Xiao.
Mian Xiao, yeah, didn't really have anything that could really effectively deal with Mian Xiao. Maybe Talonflame, but that's frail as frick. Just didn't have.
Yeah, and the fact that Mian Xiao can, you know, it can keep you turning because nothing Franco really has. Most of what Franco has doesn't really outspeed it, especially if it's like Scarf. Then nothing he has can outspeed it unless it's a full health Talonflame.
I mean, it really his only tank was his Terra Fairy Chestnut, but...
Oh wait, actually not full health Talonflame. That's obviously a Flame Body Talonflame.
It is a Flame Body Talonflame. And I guess the only thing that really could effectively wall Mian Xiao is Terra Fairy Chestnut, but even that, like, gets walled.
Look, it didn't matter if that walled it or not. It couldn't kill it.
Yeah.
That you needed to kill it, but they had nothing to. He couldn't do anything to it.
Yeah.
It could endlessly pivot out,
Yeah.
even if poisoned, and it could endlessly knock stuff off, which was very major and pretty much. Well, Franco couldn't do shit about that.
Which is unfortunate. I also found it weird that, you know, he set up Arcanine set up his Terra Steel Salamence against the Quagsire of all things, but that's just me.
Yeah, I feel like the way Arcanine played this was interesting.
It was interesting. And in the end, Arcanine soundly beat Franco's Quagsire and Milotic by eliminating all recovery PP and being beaten by Gastrodon for the win.
Yeah, because, like I said, Franco's matchup was terrible.
It wasn't very good, and yeah, hopefully...
Yeah.
It wasn't
the
very...
100-0 MU was actually... Was actually Arcanine's MU into Franco's team with Mian Xiao.
That's the 100-0 style of it. And congratulations, Arcanine, you beat a GOAT. Now, let's see if you can carry that momentum into next week.
You think so? You really think so? You really think he's beating line?
Ahem, he beat up Franco, so...
With a 100-0 matchup?
Who knows? Maybe he could do it again. Just you wait. And I'll make you eat those words. Alright.
I'll make you eat yours.
Next up, SVNU. We got Stories versus Skier Dude. Finally, a win for Stories. Smeargle proved very useful for Stories early on, as Mortal Spin helped it remove hazards while also poisoning Zarina.
And setting up webs and rocks.
And Terra Ghost as well to
prevent Serena from using Rapid Spin and getting rid of those pesky hazards.
Yeah, it's a Rapid Spin blocker in the best possible way. The hazards on Skier Dude's end, though, were very detrimental to him, especially in the long run. The rocks and the the rocks and the webs, and he couldn't really rapid spin them out. Even after Terraghost Smeargle was gone, like, he didn't really have a good opportunity to rapid spin them away.
Yeah.
And then Stories started claiming kills right then and there. First on Crocodile and Reuniclus with Basculegion, and then later Articuno swept the endgame with Hurricane and Freezing Glare, dealing with the rest. Any other things to say about this game?
Not really. You summed it up.
Good on Stories for making good on their promise for not having a bad game.
What did they promise you?
They didn't, but hey, they needed that momentum from last week. Okay, last week was bad. This week proved themselves better. Next up, Drip Legend versus Druid, which was one of the last games played, if I remember correctly.
Was it?
It wasn't the last, but it was played on a Sunday, which is late, IMO.
You're not wrong, that is late.
So, this one, Drip's Gligar revealing acrobatics was pretty interesting, especially after it had its Eviolite knocked off. Although it didn't cause appropriate damage because...
Oh yeah, you're reminding me of that Gligar.
Yeah,
that Gligar was a weird set.
U-turn, acrobatics, over the other one, spikes and knockoff. No earthquake, no roost, no toxic. It's a weird set. Not really.
Yeah, U-turn, acrobatics, spikes, knockoff. You got that right. No roost, no earthquake? Why?
No toxic. It's a weird one. I guess it's meant to just spikes up and then pivot out, and then if it loses its item, then yeah, go for acrobatics, because most of the tier, not most of the PU tier, but most of the legitimate threats in PU are weak to flying. So having acrobatics isn't good, but it's a weird build.
I guess, but like,
it's an extremely weird build. It's an extremely weird build. Drip's Grafaiai, though, gotta give him credit, was a threat. Terra Poisoning to do great damage to Druid's team, killing Bellibolt and then poisoning Gastrodon later. But in the end, though, Druid just proved why he's the better player of this game. Was able to neuter most of Drip's team, getting off a crit kill on Goodra using Scyther's dual wing beat. And at the end, Salazzle...
That crit, I don't know if that actually mattered, because it did almost the exact same amount the previous hit.
Yeah, it didn't matter, but still. It was nice. It was worth pointing it out. And then, of course, at the end, Salazzle encoring Bellibolt into Slack Off so it can safely Nasty Plot and kill Sludge Bomb for the win.
Yeah, it was a pretty sound defeat.
Looked a very good Druid going into week 3, proving himself to be quite the threat in the PU pool, which is very nice. Next up, SVLC, we got Starzama versus Hacker, and my god, I was impressed.
And I was unimpressed with Hacker.
Oh man, Hacker got screwed in this one. Hazards wasn't...
Yeah, but I feel like he made some weird plays too.
Yeah, it was. We'll go through it. We'll go through the game. Hazards was not an issue for ABBA early on, as they removed it effortlessly with Vullaby's Defog to keep safe. So, it got...
Yeah, my question is, why didn't Hacker attack it on the turn it defogged?
Right? That's what I noticed. Why did he choose to, like, set up Roxic? Oh, I'm gonna set up Hazards again, despite knowing full well that this thing has...
Like, maybe he didn't know it was gonna defog. He probably didn't know it would.
But still,
I'd
it's good
say
to
that's a
attempt.
pretty damn, look at all the hazards you already have up. I'd say it's a pretty nice opportunity to just full on attack it so it can't be a threat later like it ended up being.
And it was, and it ended up being a very, very big threat in the team. Towards the late game, Hackers Beanfu kind of had bad luck. First missing a high jump kick on Volabai, costing him HP, and pretty much the momentum of this game in the long run. Then,
that miss sucked.
The miss sucked, and even after Terra fighting, he could not kill Ama's own Minfu due to Eviolite, thus losing its scarf to inevitably die to Growlithe, which Ama won at the end, killing it and Grookey.
Yep.
Yeah, I was unimpressed, but I really thought Hacker would absolutely win against Starzama, but no, Starzama proving to be quite the commodity for LC, picking up 2 very impulsive wins. I'm impressed. Very nice.
Hacker played maybe a little too passively at times, or he didn't make all the right plays.
It was very questionable at times, but hey, Starzama, again, keeping a close eye on Starzama for potential LC breakout star. Very nice.
Why did he let his Chinchou get chipped also? That's also something I don't get.
Yeah, Chinchou could have been a threat.
He was Scarf Meanfu. He could have just went in on that Gothita you turned out into something with full health.
I don't know. It was weird. Next up, SVDOU, we got Aragon versus Ineffable, and oh my good god.
Oh lordy.
See if I can find it. Notice anything striking in this team that Ineffable brought?
It's a unknown team.
It's an unknown team, but holy shit!
What? Known? I said known.
Oh, it's a known team. Wait, has it been seen in regionals?
Regionals? What?
Or no, just doubles community in general.
Yes? A lot? This is infamous.
It makes sense why it would be infamous, because it's Espathra, which completely dominated. Its set pretty much dismantled everything in Aragon's team, including Tornadus, who only managed to get off a very late taunt. I feel like if he did that before, I feel like if he taunted early on and had mostly kept the Espathra to at least one setup of Calm Mind instead of, letting it set up twice, I feel like he could have done something with it, but unfortunately, that was not the case.
Well, was he even able to... Oh, yeah,
He's Prankster! He can beat the freaking speedy thing.
Well, Miko, the thing is, if he stayed in that turn, his Tornadus died.
Yeah.
So I guess he didn't want to lose his Tornadus.
Okay. But then, that doesn't also explain the questionable turn of, sending out Ogerpon, doing the Terra.
No, I think you're skipping over another important turn.
Which one?
Turn 3.
Turn 3, protecting...
When he let Goldengo die.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't he protect the Goldengo here?
I don't know if he even could protect it. For all we know, it was choiced.
Or it could be Nasty Plot. Or it could have gone to a Nasty Plot.
Or it could be choiced.
Or it could be choiced. Either one of the two.
The point is, he didn't want that to happen. That was not supposed to happen.
Rip in that regard.
Did you see what was supposed to happen? Did you take notice?
What was supposed to happen?
You see, that turn was unlucky for Aragon because he was attacking Innefable's Lando with his own Lando. If he went first and killed Ineffable's Lando, Golden Go would have still been alive.
Oh, so pretty much he lost to a speed tie.
Yeah, he lost the speed tie and lost his Golden Go as a result.
Rip. I'm sorry, Aragon. That was unfortunate. But as I was about to say, the Ogre Pawn game just kind of ruined Aragon afterwards because it got sent out with T-Tar over here against the Rillaboom and the Espathra, who still stayed in. Ogre Pawn Terran rocked, and then Espathra just died. Just killed it.
I think you mean Espathra killed the Ogre Pawn.
Yeah, Espathra just killed Ogre Pawn. Ogre Pawn just died, and then Aragon said, "I'm a dumbass," and then GG.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't say he's a dumbass, but that play in particular was yeah, that was a pretty dumb play.
It was pretty questionable, and that's why
I think he forgot that it loses sturdy when it terras.
It does. Unfortunate, but an Ineffable once again causing the upset. Incredible.
What do you mean once again?
I mean the Laxus once again causing another upset to the Trout.
Oh. Okay.
Next up, we got Royal Reloaded versus Madara in SV Monotype.
Talk about upsets.
This one was pretty upsetting. First of all, the Primarina, who got off to a hot start on turn 3, critting Golden Go almost immediately with Surf, netting Royal the advantage early on. It was nice. It was Fairy versus Steel as well. I mean, look at the matchup. You'd think if Fairy versus Steel, the obvious type would win, but no. That was not the case here.
Primarina had other things to say.
Primarina kind of just went just kind of went ham on the Steel team. Hatren proved very useful from then on, as it was able to set up against Corviknight and Skarmory fairly well, and doing lots of damage in the process before succumbing to Scizor. You see the Calm Mind, it tanked the Iron Heads really well, it took the Brave Birds very well. Body press wasn't an issue. Like, Hatren really proved itself useful against the birds. And Iron Valiant proved to be a good breaker behind the screens, as it beat Corviknight and Archaludon before it succumbed to Scizor. And then Primarina, after starting the game so well, bookended the game by becoming strong at the late game, beating Scizor and Goldango for Royal to win the game.
I gotta wonder, wait, hold on.
Which turn you looking at?
I don't know what the Golden Go set was, but that was the last Mon to stand in the way of Primarina, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much Surf does normally, but I do feel that the Golden Go should not have straight up attacked it right away.
What do you mean?
Because, look, I don't know how much Surf does normally from that thing, but it was as good as dead once it got into Torrent range.
Yeah, the Torrent did play a big factor into that regard. Maybe he could have nasty plotted, or maybe he could have set up a Shadow Ball or something. But yeah,
I don't know what he could have done because again, I don't know how much Surf does normally.
But it's a Surf. It's a big against the Goldango.
Yeah.
Isn't Goldango like specially frail?
Not necessarily, but like, you see, I'm pretty sure that was a Specs Primarina.
It was. That 100% kills a Goldango, man. It does
Yeah,
like,
it's not that specially frail. It's 91 base special defense.
but against a spec Surf Primarina, Jesus, Primarina's got monstrous special attack. What do you mean? Brubber. Anyway, Royal picked up the win.
I guess 126 is pretty good, yeah.
Anyway, Royal picked up the win. Very solid. Beating the type matchup like that. Alright, next up. We got the Flame Slinger Skeletor just losing badly. And very, very badly. To the Primal Power Pangoros. What the?
After starting the week off positive, too.
They were doing so well in the high tiers, but the low tiers, my god, did they struggle. First off, in SVOU, we got JJ versus Suzia. Once again, the first blood went to JJ. And he picked up this very impressive win over Suzia, where JJ used Future Sight immediately on the first turn, which led to Suzia going into his Glamora for it to take an Ivy Cudgel, leading to the Toxic Debris hazard and subsequent sack, ultimately not mattering, as Slowking was still in the back.
Yeah.
You know.
But I guess Glamora didn't do very much in this matchup anyway.
And it was just there to land a Toxic Debris. That's really what it did. But Slowking was in the back, therefore negating that poison status. Ultimately, though, JJ just had the upper hand on Suzia for most of this game, using the Terraflying King Gambit to beat the Iron Valiant, preserving his Gliscor's HP well, for it to take a boosted Sucker Punch from the opposing King Gambit well enough to kill it via Earthquake, even having the Ogre Pawn lived at 2% against Terra Fairy's Golden Ghost Shadow Ball to defeat it with Ivy Cudgel, with Gliscor toxicking the Zamazenta at the end for the win. It was a very pretty game for JJ, as he was proved well and truly good. Against a good OU player, too. Huh. Alright, next up. Exotic versus Velvet. I believe this was also played early.
Yeah, this was the second game played, I think.
Wow. The Dirges wanted to start off strong, and they did. But then what happened? Blah. So, Exotic dominated Velvet in this game. Because he brought kind of some semi-stall, because he got Dondozo, Alamamola, and Garganackle. But also he got Landorus, Darkrai, and Iron Moth. But yeah, Exotic kind of dominated Velvet here. First setting up the Toxic Spikes with Iron Moth to copyright. He just set up Toxic Spikes with Iron Moth, giving Exotic a huge advantage, as Velvet looked like she didn't bring any hazard removers other than Moltres.
Maybe?
But it was hazard removal nothing, because, you know, yeah, you got boots on your Dragapult, but still, that shit didn't matter at all. Exotic kind of neutered Tinkaton then nicely with Salt Cure for early chip damage, and then Landorus' Intimidate allowed it to tank an Ice Hammer well and set up rocks, killing it with Earthquake the turn after. You know, Raging Bolt could have been a useful breaker for Velvet, but it getting red carded to be sent out by Alamamola with the Toxic Spikes already pitted against it really hurt her chances at potentially like causing a stir and whipping out a good game.
Yeah, true. That brought out the Raging Bolts earlier than Velvet would have wanted to send it out.
So in the end, Garganackle tanked the Weavile's Triple Axles nicely, and set up Curse against Dragon Dart's Dragapult, taking hits well and dealing Salt Cure damage against Velvet's remaining.
You mean Garganackle got lucky and avoided a third Triple Axle hit?
I
allowing it to tank.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't think that... well, yeah, it was Terra Ice Weavile. As we pointed out, it took 9, then 18. I don't know if that third triple axle would have done enough damage.
Do the math, Mikoi. What's 2 times 18?
36.
It had 35 left.
Or 34, as I'm looking here, but... yeah, maybe... I don't know. Garganacle's bulk is just
I'd say there was a fairly good chance of it doing enough.
There was a roll at the end. But yeah...
Of course, it probably wasn't guaranteed to... it probably wasn't guaranteed to kill, but... that basically eliminated any chance Velvet had of killing it.
Which was a very smart move from Exotic, allowing it to preserve...
What?
Well, no, it was a pretty lucky move, I mean, on Exotic to avoid getting triple axle the third time, and then ultimately recovering.
That was luck. Exotic didn't have to do anything to have that.
It was very good luck on Exotic's part. Again, the recover nicely, and then, you know, Salt Cure just did the rest, and Curse Garganicle proves to be quite the underrated monster in OU, like it was. Why the thing dropped to UU, I will never ever understand. But yeah. Good win from Exotic. That's all we can say. Next up, Skyu. What was supposed to be Skyu versus Ainscrad turned into Skyu versus Cashba. And, yeah, this was a mugging, wasn't it?
Quite.
It was quite the mugging. Well, Cash did kind of a good job setting up Trick Room and pivoting right into Calyrex at the beginning, dishing out powerful glacial lances through Terra Ice in the process.
I agree.
It was a very smooth couple of turns at first. He did get a bit too carried away, though. Arceus Water managed to recover to tank at least one Ursaluna Facade before killing it with Judgment. And, you know, the Terra Steel Tinglu was really well utilized by Skyu here, beating out the Calyrex from the Toxic Spikes set earlier by Eternatus and tanking a crit to deliver a crit Earthquake back. As you can see right here. And then it came down to Necrozma and Lunala to try to Photon Geyser sweep under Trick Room. However, Skyu had more mons to burn, basically. He had more mons to get coverage on. And Ho-Oh killing the Necrozma. Then Miraidon finished off the Lunala for Sky to pick up the win.
I'm surprised you didn't mention how badly Kesh utilized his Trick Room sweepers in the latter half of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't really well utilized.
Like, completely skipping out on the opportunity to get a free kill at turn 13. Why would you skip out on that?
He didn't know. He wanted the Arceus Ghost to be the one to kill the frigging Eternatus. What do you mean?
You literally allowed it to get the Toxic Spikes up, and that was one of the biggest things that hindered Calyrex. And at that, there was literally whatever came in at that time basically died.
Yeah. It wasn't very good.
Why would you do that?
It wasn't very good.
I understand you wanna have the Trick Room setter out right as Trick Room ends, but no, that's not worth it. You don't give up.
You go for the gusto
kill and allow the Eternatus to get Toxic Spike up. Yeah, that was just stupid.
It was a pretty dumb play. Any other dumb moments you'd like to cover?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
And coincidentally, it's for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
And except for this time, it's an even freer kill that he skipped out on.
Go on.
Okay, turn 17. Well, no, not turn 17. Turn 18, actually. So at turn 17, he killed the Eternatus because Skyu sacked it.
Yes.
And thus he got the Grimne boost.
Yep.
And then Ho-Oh comes in. It clearly does not have enough health to survive a hit.
He just switched it out to Lunala.
Yes, he switched it out on turn 18. Even though literally anything Skyu could send in on that turn, if it or Ho-Oh, like Ho-Oh just died, anything else Skyu sent out just died. He once again threw away a free kill.
He just wanted to get ready for the next trick room. He was worried about that. You know, getting...
No, it's not worth it.
It is not worth it. You take advantage of that free kill, bro.
And like, besides, if you switch it out again, then like, you send it back in later. It takes more chip from the spike.
It was
and it has more work to do later because you didn't take the chance to kill something.
And especially you let it get off scot-free because Ho-Oh had Regenerator. Hooray!
Yeah, you let the Ho-Oh get healthy again.
Good job, Keshba. Really well played there, buddy. Anyway.
Yeah, why was he just killing his own momentum there, huh?
Oh boy. Yep. You earned PokeArt's Wrath. Congratulations, Keshba.
Yeah, like you don't throw away free kills when they're given to you.
Twice in the same match too. Goddamn.
It also made me wonder if he had a... wait, hold on. I feel like he did something wrong with Ursaluna that made me want to rant too.
Okay, go on.
It was just switch it out.
You're angry for him switching out?
Never mind. That was all I really wanted to rant about.
Overall, pretty dumb plays from Keshba. Allowed Skyu to get off scot-free, picking up wins right then and there.
Yeah, he gave his opponent too many. He just kind of gave his opponent opportunities that he should not have had.
Yeah. Next up, we got Jawabarat. Gotta say that right now. Versus Just Drew. This one was a long game, and it was kind of boring at times, to be honest. I didn't really like the pacing in this one.
Well, yeah, it was stall.
It was stall, and I didn't like the pacing. It saw Drew make use of switching out consistently to predict Jaw's plays, while scouting for a long-term strategy and how to break it. That's basically what I gathered from Drew's plays. Jaw finally made some progress on turn 32 though, when he broke through Tornadus after Draco meteoring it previously for a massive chip, now killing it with the same move. And then Drew started to lose momentum for a while. After having his Rhyperior and Mandibus poisoned, Jaw able to call out switches at finally a great pace. And having Screamtail around as wish support and then special walling Raikou at the end enabled Jaw to pick up the win.
Basically, he just stalled Drew to death.
Congratulations.
That's all I really gotta say about that.
Congratulations, Jaw. We're very well played there, buddy. Alright. Even though Drew kind of argued at that point, like, he had a great matchup. He just needed to stall him out well, and which he did. Next up.
Yeah, so Jaw just played good.
Yeah. Next up, Feliburn versus Fiend and PokeArt. I got to say that I'm right. My betting man instincts proved to be useful last week. You were hard. You were so confident that Feliburn was gonna win. But look at that. Fiend absolutely carried.
Oh, I mean,
It was still a good match. I'm not going to deny that. It was still a pretty good match from both players. So, Wo Chien was very well utilized here, knocking off the Okidogi Scarf as well as leech seeding various mons on Feli's team to just start the momentum, get the shift in his pace. Cyclozor had a real rough time against Magnezone after getting off a rapid spin successfully, then was paralyzed by a discharge and left to be body pressed after that. All for Slowbro Gallard to take the kill on Flamethrower. And then in the end, as a potentially dangerous nasty plot, Mew was taken out by Scarf Okidogi, as well as Sword Stance boosted Iron Leaves for Wo Chien to handle Hippowdon and Noivern to win. So Fiend ultimately...
you just reminded me, you just reminded me of what I didn't really like.
Really? Go on.
His Mew was very low, yet he terrored anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I was expecting knockoff, but still.
Why would you Terra? Very late.
Yeah, because like the thing is, it was in close combat range, regardless of whether it terrored or not.
Yeah, Okidogi just proved to be, Okidogi's got good attack, and letting Mew Terra Fairy into something that powerful in such a low health is it's a bad spot. It's a real bad spot to Terra at that point.
Of the opinion he probably shouldn't have hard switched it into a flamethrower.
I guess, yeah, that was also pretty bad. Detrimental, definitely, and then of course the Iron Leaves killed by a gunk shot, the Super Fang Miss into the Wo Chien, Leech Seed, and ultimately Fiend just won. So good on Fiend for absolutely make it well played. Next up we have Axertix versus Shinjaneer. And this one was a very, very short game. Go on.
I find it funny. I hadn't actually seen Iron Leaves with Pork Dry boosting attack until just this week.
Right.
But yeah, I think it being Cork Dry boosting attack for Fellyburn just kind of lost him the game.
Right? Why don't use speed? Why no use Cork Drive speed?
Yeah, like if it's a Webs team, obviously booster attack makes sense, but this isn't a Webs team.
Not a Webs team.
Where's your speed at, bro? Where's your speed?
Yeah, Iron Leaves. So yeah, Iron Leaves, if it was attack-based, good strat, but preferably for Iron Speed spreads. Go for speed. Go for speed!
Yeah, the only benefit I can see to the attack is that it probably would have had a much better shot at killing Wo Chien.
Yeah. So that's all we can say, really. Next up, now we can finally move on to Axertix versus Shinjaneer. And this one was very, very short. So this game saw Shinjaneer knocked out Crocodile, Abomasnow, and crit Titan after Belly Drum set up after Aurora Veil in really quick succession. But first of all, Monkey Dory just straight up O-code Crocodile. Then Abomasnow, after setting up Aurora Veil, just ultimately eats a Flare Blitz and dies. And then Titan goes for the Belly Drum, gets that Citrus Berry off, and Cinnaror just straight up murdered it with a crit.
Yeah, and It was gonna be It was gonna be pretty hard to come back from that.
It was extremely hard for Exotix to come back from that one. Iron Thorns then took out Talonflame and Incineroar, killed Sandslash through Rapid Spin Mind Games, with Brambleghast finally
Well, what now?
Well, okay. Why I say that, gonna need some explaining. So, the Iron Thorns comes in, gets a Swords Dance from Sandslash, getting the boost on. The Iron Thorn uses Earthquake, and then Rapid Spins from there. It wasn't Rapid Spin Mind Games, it was Intimidate Mind Games. That I was mistaken.
It wasn't even Mind Games.
Okay, you explain it. I implore you.
It was just played out normally. I don't see what was
Swords Dance
mind-gamey about it.
Swords Dance on the friggin' turn that it was going to kill it.
Yeah, that was a little stupid in my opinion. I understand he probably expected, like, the switch out so it could come back in and intimidate again, but, like, why do that when you can just kill it?
Especially, why are you setting up against a thing that can ultimately, that Shinjineer was ultimately going to sack, but you still get off a free kill? Like, ugh.
I also gotta wonder, did his Sandslash not have Earthquake? I'm tempted to say it probably didn't.
I also think it did, and I think Icicle Crash was its bread and butter move. But he could have done well with an Earthquake, especially Iron Thorns and Monkey Dory, and especially when you Terra Ground this instead of Frostmoth, you would have done much better.
Oh wait, no, he probably expected a Terra to come out from the Iron Thorns, because at the time, Shinjineer had not yet Terra'd, and I think a common Terra for Iron Thorns is Grass.
I guess.
So even if it did have Earthquake, he may have expected Terra Grass and thus went for Icicle Crash.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make total sense in the long run.
So I feel a fair amount of Axortix's misplays here were just him over predicting a little.
Yeah. That's a pretty good summary there. Exotix just kind of over predicted a lot of what Shinjineer is gonna go for, especially against the Iron Thorns and Incineroar. But in the end, it wasn't a pretty. It wasn't. Well, it wasn't. It was a hard fought. It was a hard struggle because of the early turns, but still. But yeah, Brambleghast ultimately picked up the win after Frostmoth. Moth was trying to set up for Quiver Dance. Boom, killed by the Terra Ghost Brambleghast in order for the win. Next up, another really short game. But very much hyper-offensive in similar terms. Avarice versus Fish Enema Meter. Where to even start with this one, huh?
Hold on, let me pull that up.
Look at the teams. Look at those teams that they brought. And what are these names? Cyber Meat and the real Ryan Gosling. I was
like, which one is which again?
Yeah, I was thinking, which one is the Avarice name? Because Avarice uses really out there names.
I don't know if they're really out there. It's just that he uses a bazillion of them.
A bazillion of them. He's very creative in that regard. So, very short, very hyper-offensive game. Saw Fish's Inteleon Shadow Ball working better against Avarice's own Inteleon. Catching the Arcanine switch in as well to Oko with Hydro Pump. But couldn't Oko Scrafty, who then rested. And then Avalugg Hisui was an extreme MVP later on. Despite being toxic by Gligar, Mountain Galed it to kill it. A Mountain Gale, something I have never seen in an Avalugg set, ever.
Wait, you've never seen that? I thought that was standard.
That was standard. I always see like the suicide lead, Custapberry, rocks get in. And Avalok didn't.
And that has Mountain Gale.
That is Mountain Gale. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I've seen it get Custapberry, Mountain Gale, and it just kills something with it.
Okay, I stand corrected then. And then it Terra Ground later to kill both Belly Bolt and Scrafty. Just a short but sweet game for Fish Enema Meter to take the win.
Yep.
Next up, oh boy, let me talk to you about friggin' Genisu versus Tempo. Oh no, this game.
Oh,
After a pretty standard first few turns, Genisu's Diglett just kind of went ham in this game, using sub to against a sucker punching Stunky in order to proceed to heavily chip Meanfu and killed Mudbray. Terra Ice Voltorb also deserves special mention, beating Wattrel early on and preserved later to beat Mienfu, while succumbing to Tempo's own Terra Fire Voltorb. And then Growlithe.
It's funny, I feel like in this game we see two things that we don't usually see very much of anymore.
Which are?
Wattrel and Terra Ice Hisuian Voltorb.
Yeah, Wattrel's been kind of falling out of usage, especially with the rise of the Terra Ice and Terra Fire Voltorb, because it's too good.
No, Terra Ice is kind of fallen out of usage because Wattrel has.
Yeah.
Most of them run Terra Fire, I think.
Which is far
and
more
sometimes
useful.
Terra Ghost.
Which is far more useful than Terra Ice, in the long run especially. But yeah, Growlithe then crit killed the Terra Fire Voltorb and beat Marini as it was going for Iron Defense to win.
Yeah, by that point in the game, I think Tempo's only hope was if it missed.
Yeah, it was going. Yeah,
and even then, I don't think it won.
Me too, because Diglett's still around, Mienfu could still knock off Zevulite, and Fungus could just put it to sleep.
Fungus was still in the back.
Yeah, Fungus was ready to put it to sleep if that was happened. But yeah, Genisu actually picking up a win. Guess who didn't?
Before people like Arsenine.
Well, next up, SVDOU, Oblivion Wing versus Penter. Keeping the streak of really short games, this one was by far the shortest, with only 5 turns. But those 5 turns were pretty eventful, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I'd say there's a reason the game ended in that short a time. It had to be quite eventful.
The Iron Crown Terra Psychic boosted expanding force under psychic terrain. Very, very powerful. Indeedee and Cleavor playing support, sweeping everything in Oblivion's team, including a double protect miss by the Terra Steel Landorus. Iron Crown OP, please nerf.
Yeah, jeez, but it's not that it's OP, it's just that, Oblivion Wing didn't have anything for it.
No, it did not. The only real hope was the freaking... What's the outspeed?
This is what you would call an unwinnable matchup.
Unwinnable matchup from the
matchup
get-go.
You just lose so instantly that this happens.
Yeah, it was a slaughter. In every sense of the word. Penter went ham with the psychic boost, with the expanding force. Would love to see it in regionals, but yeah.
Why do you keep bringing up regionals for DOU? This is not the same.
I know it's not the same. It's still doubles. Doubles agenda rise up.
It is not the same.
I've also been watching a lot of regionals, I'm sorry. Anyway, next up, Twinkie versus Azik. I'd say Twinkie had a pretty good start here. Setting up the screens well and using Primarina to great effect. Using it to beat Corviknight and It gives it to great effect against the Corviknight and the Dragonite in the early turns. And then things kind of changed immediately on turn 22 to 23, where, despite Hatren getting the weakness policy boost against Corviknight's Iron Head, was unfortunately flinched twice. Couldn't get off a single attack before dying to Corviknight, which was a real shame on Twinkie's part.
Yes, it was.
And then Azik just kind of kept control for the rest of the game. Toxicking Enamorous while Whirlwinding with 1 layer of Spike up for Hazard's damage, and his own Enamorous Moonblasting the rest for the Azik win. Any other comments you would like to make on this mono game?
Not really. Apart from the fact that despite you saying the Primarina was utilized well against Dragonite, that thing couldn't touch it. It had no fairy move.
Well, it had Surfing Psychic Noise.
Which didn't do shit to the Dragonite.
Even if it didn't do shit, it still would have worked better. Anyway, Azik won. That's all we can say. Azik won.
Yes.
Next up, Resort City Rufflets beating the Lavender Laprases. So you've exercised your demons, Pokehard, and you actually beat your old team.
Yeah.
Team India do be kind of strong. First off, in this...
Yeah, Team India kind of #1 right now.
No.
Well, I guess the Phantom Trope is also in the same rank, but we're tied for first.
Alright. But yeah, Rufflets. Rufflets go strong. Especially in this SVOU game where Piyush beat Thiago Nunes. Your boy, Piyush. Absolutely beating Thiago Nunes.
Never underestimate Piyush.
Oh, after this? Of course not. Why would I? Of course not. Because the early parts of this game were Gliscor, Spike stacking, and mind games in the beginning. The two really just didn't make any progress early on because it was just Gliscor Spikes, Gliscor Protect, Gliscor Knockoff, Gliscor Roost. Like, it was just a lot of Gliscor early on. And then after a good 20 turns of nothing but Gliscor, things finally happened in turn 41 where Zamazenta got a crit kill on Kyurem, giving Piyush a clear advantage.
Yeah, it was surprising to see that Team Nunez just kind of let Kyurem die, despite the fact that it was a threat to Piyush's whole team.
I guess he just wanted at least one kill, and then just killed the Zamazenta right then and there. It was low.
Well, yeah, but you don't. But thing is, if even without the crit, Zamazenta would have hit that Kyurem pretty hard, and its boots.
It is boots.
Its boots were knocked off.
Yeah.
So if close combat hit hard enough, then Kyurem just straight up can't come in anymore.
Well, it guaranteed pretty much the kill at that point, and then Zamazenta just kind of floored Kyurem, giving T. Nunez a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, they were not careful with that Kyurem.
T. Nunez's Goldango tried to become useful later on, especially with killing Dragonite, but was held back by Zamazenta, who killed it with Crunch. Zamazenta proving to be an unsung MVP in this game. And then, in the end, Terra Fairy Goldango came in, killed Gliscor, recovered up some HP on Dragapult, winning the game as a whole. Good job, Piyush! Overall, just good job, Piyush.
We were worried about Goldango too, to be honest, but he didn't heal it.
Alright. Next up, Fat Batman versus Stariel. Very expected Stariel that would take the win here. So let's see the game as is. Darkrai was the MVP in this game early on. burning Scizor immediately to neuter it. After it died to its own burn, beat Landorus with a surprise Ice Beam. I know, but I already know I've used that Darkrai in OU, and I know how strong it can get, especially since it was faster than pretty much anything in. Well, it was faster against Landorus, and I don't know about anything else.
It was basically faster than Fat Batman's entire team without any boosters, yes.
Yeah. Kyurem then missed a scale shot needed to not only kill Garganacl but boost itself later on, which kind of hindered Fat Batman's momentum.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah, again, the trend here of really unfortunate misses deciding really important games. And then the Terra Ghost King Gambit, after managing to Iron Head kill Great Tusk, was left to be burned once again by Darkrai, guaranteeing the win on Stereo's side because Fat Batman's remaining mons just couldn't perform well under these circumstances.
Let's see, what did I... Oh, yeah. We were all a little confused as to why he just sent in Lando to die.
Right? That was a pretty questionable play. I don't know why.
Was he not aware that Darkrai runs Ice Beam a fair amount of the time?
Yeah. Darkrai is a weird mon. Like, you'd never expect Darkrai to carry such powerful moves such as Ice Beam, but Darkrai is kind of standard in OU with Ice Beam.
I feel the more unexpected move here was Will-O-Wisp. I knew Starreal runs that, but I guess I neglected to tell Fat Batman before the game.
Yeah, unfortunately so. But yeah, Starreal just kind of played well to his advantage and ultimately won. Not much else to say. Let's move on to next up. We got SV Ubers, where Richard Milliplane beat Terracotta.
Quite soundly.
Very, very soundly. I was very impressed. It was a pretty long game, admittedly. Saw many burns in this game and lots of hazard stacking. Necrozma proved very useful here, knocking off Ho-Oh's heavy-duty boots as well as switching in against Eternatus to prevent his own Ho-Oh from getting toxic, avoiding being burned from Flamethrower in the process. Which was very good. And then Miraidon then crit killed Zamazenta on turn 38. And that just became the focal point for Richard as he started to really outplay by that end. Miraidon claimed more kills on Ho-Oh and Arceus Fairy at the end, which netted him the win.
Yeah, you see, I'd say you're in a pretty bad spot if your opponent has a Miraidon and your Tinglu is dead.
Yeah. When both of those things happen, yeah, your Tinglu, your real counters against its own Miraidon, excuse me. If those two things didn't happen, then Terracotta would at least have some sort of mitigated pressure, but Richard just kind of won at that point, and he basically 6-0'd. If Ho-Oh didn't die.
Yeah, he did. He basically did.
Alright, next up we got Meme Dose versus Zeri in...
This game is painful to watch.
I told you putting Meme Dose here was a bad idea.
No, it's not because he played bad. It's just, there was just one play that I feel cost everything.
Well, let's take a look, shall we? First off, Meme Dose led with Rain, which kind of turned the tides against Meme Dose, because Zeri used the Rain to his full advantage here. Just using the Hydro Pump and using Ice Beam on Rotom and Empoleon against Zapdos and Hydrapple respectively to kill both.
I'm surprised you didn't mention what happened turn 1.
Yeah, the Volt Switch onto the Barraskewda. Why would you send out?
From a Scarfrotum.
I mean, why would you send out Barraskewda early on? Why?
Well, Mikoi, I want you to take a look at Ziri's team. Does Barraskewda underspeed anything there without a scarf?
I guess not.
Yeah, see, Windows did not expect a scarf. He just expected, Lamau, I'm gonna go for a free flip turn and go into something else, like Hydrapple.
But no, that still like is a bad idea. It's still a bad idea to
That's
just
not
bring
a bad
in.
idea because like they usually don't run scarf, but this one does.
This one does. So, I think I know what turn you mean. I think I know what moment you mean that really was like very painful. Very gutsy painful.
Oh,
Greninja tried to be useful late game by killing Rotom, activating the battle bond, yeah?
yes.
However, that Hydro Pump Mias on against the Empoleon was able to get off a roost despite being paralyzed. This turn 27, it missed the Hydro Pump against the Empoleon, letting it roost, and was able to kill Greninja later with the flip turn. And then, yeah.
Here's what I don't really get about that turn. I understand you want to go for the Hydro Pump, but didn't Water Shuriken kill from that range?
Yeah, I do believe Water Shuriken killed, especially because you're in rain and you're Terra Water. And you're faster.
And just the previous turn, 2 hits from Water Shuriken did 18%.
Why not go for Water Shuriken at that turn?
And it was on 17%. So basically, even if it's a potential roll for it to not kill with Water Shuriken, it could just hit 3 times and then that's still a kill. I feel like the Hydro Pump was a bit of a risk to go for there.
Yeah, like okay, like I get it. Everyone else just kind of dies. If he was going for Hydro Pump just to get a sack off, maybe, but yeah, it was still a big risk to use Hydro Pump at that point because of the accuracy. And thus Empoleon got off a roost, and then had he had the first Hydro Pump hit, or had he went for Water Shuriken, Empoleon would have died. Keeping the momentum against Greninja, like it was able to kill pretty much everything else in his team.
Yes, it likely could have killed everything else in Ziri's team. However, I don't know if that actually won Mindos the game because I don't think Ziri Terra'd by that point. And if he had anything that was Terra Water, then Mindos still lost.
Also, Low Kicks was there with First Impression.
No, that didn't matter. This is a Protector Ninja.
Oh, this is a Protector. then that makes sense.
Yeah, did you not notice when Ziri went for the first impression, but Greninja used Protect?
Yeah. I did, yeah. It could have won. Alright, next up, the rematch from the RU Seasonal. Lime versus Temp Round 2. For this time, it was the opposite of what happened in that Seasonal. Lime actually picked up the win here. And again, people underestimated Lime in this game. I had faith. Because Lime did actually pretty good here. Lime's Thundurus outsped Temp's own Thundurus and killed it in this regard, giving him an immediate leg up. And despite the initial scare of losing the Scarf on its Zapdos Galar, its Terra Fighting was still able to score some kills on Revavroom and Heracross and later Mimikyu to win.
Yeah, but I think you're forgetting a little something about this game. Remember the stuff that Temp complained about afterwards?
Oh yeah. Why not you highlight that?
I think this pertained to the Araquanid turns.
Really?
Yes, when Cyclizar came in on Araquanid after the Volt Switch from Thunderous doing damage, doing around 80, it used Liquidation to do about 50 to Cyclizar, putting it in somewhat low health. Then Temp was confused as to why he didn't switch out Cyclizar.
I guess.
But, like, the only reason to switch out Cyclizar there is if you are Custap Berry, Araquanid, which I don't know how common that is, but I'm getting the feeling that Temps was, in fact, Custap Berry or something.
Very familiar.
But yeah, what I don't get is why
switch out.
Why did Temp switch out then?
Yeah, why did he switch out? Because he had.
Yeah. Why did Temp switch out if that was the case?
If that was the case, because the Araquanid would have gotten an immediate leg up by killing Cyclizar at that point. So I don't know. It was very questionable. It was very questionable.
I think Temp really overthought that turn because here's what I think he was thinking.
Go ahead.
I think he was assuming that Lime knew his Araquanid was Custap Berry, so he expected Lime to switch into Empoleon, so Temp switched into Heracross, because that's obviously quite good for an Empoleon switch-in, but
no.
To his surprise, Lime didn't switch, and instead went for Knockoff.
Which benefited Lime, because the Flame Orb got knocked off.
And, interestingly, Temp never went for webs.
Right? That was weird. Like, he just straight up got killed. He just straight up sacked the Araquanid at that point, and then Zapdos just kind of clean at the end.
See, I think Tanish didn't switch, because, like, even if he either didn't know it was Custap, or he did know and figured he would go for webs and just thought, okay, I'll just stay in and kill you if you're gonna webs. I don't know. It's hard to know exactly what happened that turn.
Also, this is the second instance where, again, the Quark Drive booster energy attack boosted Iron Leaves.
Yeah, it makes more sense here than it did for Feliburn because this is a webs team.
Yep. But it was very nice also that he got Terra Steel, even though it is still, Armorage still cleans Iron Leaves at that point with the armor cannon. But yeah, it was weird. It was a weird couple of turns, but in the end, Lime just kind of played well enough to his advantage and picked up the win. Alright, next up. Wadley versus Swinefan. Team Charm had a Focus Energy Kingdra. That was nice. That was a well.
When only time I've seen him use that. He used that in past gens too.
Yeah.
He used it just last gen.
he is a very common user of the Focused Energy Kingdra. However,
he's up to his old tricks, you might say.
Yeah, he's up to his old tricks. You darn tootin', he is. However, it was unable to kill Registeel, even after 2 crit boosted surfs due to it, and then dying to its body press instead.
Yeah, that's just Registeel for you. Unkillable,
especially in NU. Crucial point came at turn 27 when Dreadnought set up the Shell Smash. However, Terra Water Basculegion came in and wave crashed it, later coming to an Aqua Jet to beat a potentially dangerous threat.
Basculegion, why is this thing in NU? Tell me why.
Tell me why this thing never never lets you down. It just never lets you down.
I thought you were about to sing like Backstreet Boys or something.
No. I get why, but I'm thinking of something different. Anyway. Talonflame then deked Decidueye and burned Iron Thorns later, which really neutered Charm's chances of reverse sweeping because he was Dragon Dance boosted with the Iron Thorns being Quark Drive attack boost. But yeah, the burn cost him, and then Wadley just killed it with a crook. Oh no, not crook. Basket Legion. Just threatened it. Won the game.
Yep.
Wadley.
A very nice victory.
Wadley too strong. Too strong for life. Next up, TGA defeating Pote. TGA's Golurk put in the work early on. He really put in the work.
Wow, did you mean to make that rhyme?
Yeah, Golurk puts the work. And now it must work. Heavily chipping the oncoming switch into to Scyther with Poltergeist before tanking the Duraludon's Draco Meteor in order to crit kill it with Earthquake. That was a pretty important turn at that point. Tatsugiri, though, man, that mon braved it out against the Terragrass Salazzle, who toxicked it before dying to its surfs 3 turns later. Tatsugiri was determined to put away the friggin' Terragrass Salazzle, and it did.
Despite the Terra, yes.
Swords Dance Zoroark looked to be a threat in the late game. However...
Oh, believe me, when the team saw that, we're like, oh no, oh, that's not good.
And he was ready to reverse sweep at that point. However, Scyther, once again, toughed it out. To live with 12% HP left to kill it with U-turn, following up with Terra Steel Grimmsnarl beating Screamtail.
Yeah, not gonna lie, that game could have really gone either way, because, thankfully Pote didn't know we were Sucker Punch and Crunch.
Yeah, I've always found it weird to carry both Crunch and Sucker Punch, but hey, to this one it worked.
Yeah, had he known we were Sucker Punch,
he would have stalled you out.
He had a chance to win to beat us in the Sucker Mind games, and then just kill Scyther.
Didn't take that opportunity to be.
Yeah, that game had the team sweating, and poor TGA, who's like, holy shit, my heartbeat right now. Someone take it.
Someone call an ambulance, because the gaming had an attack and won. Next up, Elfuzon versus Polo Ariosto. There were some early Shelder shenanigans at the start. Polio trying to offset by substituting. However, Elfuzon made the right decision to just Rock Blast, break the sub and kill it. That was nice. That was nice. That was a nice mind games, and that was completely threw off Polo's start there for a bit. But
I wouldn't really call it a mind game.
Really?
More like Elfuzon just positioned himself perfectly.
Because the screens definitely helped as well.
The screens, the taunt. Basically, he made sure that his Shelder would get in safe, set up safely, and not be at risk of that Shelder setting up further.
Yeah. Fortunately, I missed the Rock Blast on Glimmet.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
But, hey, he still got to kill it. Poniard threw off Elfu for a bit, I feel. Losing the 50-50 on turn 36. Oh, no, not 36. 16, I meant. Because he was going for the Shell Smash. It was playing mind games, basically, and then Poniard just kind of
lost the mind games.
And lost the mind games to an Iron Head later on, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, after that Swords Dance, I'm just thinking, hit him now! Attack him now! Yeah. He won't Sucker Punch this turn! Attack!
Yeah. You got 3 left.
I
which
was
you need to
obviously
preserve.
not confident in that, but I guess I was right.
Although, credit to Elfuson, he brought it back with Volabai. Nasty plotting and Terra ghosting in order to sweep the remaining Mons in Polo's team, preventing getting paralyzed from Thunderbolt, Voltor Pisui, and even catching the Zoro predict at the end.
Well, you see, that one was not hard to catch if you simply paid attention to the rocks damage it received when coming in.
Yep. It was an easy it was an easy predict at that point, and
I wouldn't say easy, but like basically it takes some observation, and Elfuson's good enough to have that observation.
And he won very convincingly. Well done, Elfuson.
Yeah, despite a bit of a rough start.
Next up, SMB versus Loudwinner.
Oh, brother.
Well, the Terra Grass Iron Hands was an immediate threat to Loudwinner, but his answer
Yes, it was.
But his answer was Terra Bug Baxcalibur, and it tanked at least one Drain Punch after Terra. Although he curiously went for another Swords Dance instead of straight up attacking on turn 3, which Iron Hands disposed of the next turn with Wild Charge.
Well, there were screens up. I don't blame him.
There were screens up, but I feel like if you still went for the attack, you've at least chipped the freaking thing.
That's true, but then it would have been difficult to get the kill on Volcanion the next turn.
I mean, you still had Amoongus as well. You pollen buffed the Amoongus to get back some health, so I wouldn't be worried.
Isn't that what he did?
He did. And yeah, he did. He was in a good position. Loudwinner admittedly started looking threatening again with Archaludon and Pelipper coming in, easily beating Grimmsnarl. However, Moltres was still on the field, immediately landing Fiery Wrath, killing Pelipper.
Yeah, you see, I don't know what we were thinking about Moltres, because, I think once, we were at, +2 on our Chaludon with Electro Shot, couldn't we have just, aimed for the Moltres?
Right.
Before Sinistcha came in?
Right. Why?
What was stopping us?
Maybe because the Grimmsnarl was threatening enough because it was going to set up Prankster light screen. I don't know. Also, why go for the Snarl? I get trying to attack
to mitigate damage, but you're at a bit of a point where you need to get that thing off the field before it starts killing everything.
Yeah, you should have targeted it first because it was going berserk with friggin' Fiery Wrath. Because in the end,
did you intend for that pun?
Yeah, it went berserk and it activated berserk because it went ham. It teared up the rest of Loud's team with Landorus Therian providing good backup, winning the game for SMB.
But yeah, I feel like we were definitely too passive when it came to the Moltres. I understand not wanting to attack it because obviously if it goes below half, it's gonna hit you even harder, but
right.
You gotta light screen didn't go up from what I remember.
Nope, never did.
So he needed to start killing that thing with Electro Shot.
Yeah.
I mean, +2 was probably enough, wasn't it?
It was. Oh, more than that. It would have killed. Easily could have slaughtered. And we got to SV Monotype where Sasha beat Dunox. Very unfavorable matchup for Dunox. Very, very unfavorable matchup.
Yeah, that was sad to watch.
Doomed from the beginning, because Landorus set up Gravity in order to fully utilize Earthquake to its fullest potential, with nearly everything, I just want to say everything on Sasha's team had Earthquake.
Well, no, because not everything on Sasha's team was a physical attacker.
Only got one, but everything else just kind of benefited from the freaking earthquake.
Oh yeah, wait, you're right. Yeah, five of these mons are physical attackers, so I guess 5 of them had earthquake.
Especially, yeah. One major thing that happened was Mammothwine was unable to kill Skarmory via the Icicle Crash miss, and then Heatran just picked up the kill there. But yeah, overall, just Sasha just dominated.
Okay, one unfortunate thing that happened was, let's see. I think it was when Skarmory used Whirlwind on one turn, and it sent in Lando, which is really not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Because that allowed it to get in for free and gravity up, and then it's over.
Basically, Dunox had a free out to lose.
Yeah, whoops.
So, finally, we get to the Lore Society defeating the Snowbell Stuffles. Very convincingly, too, with 7-3. Oof.
More Stuffles.
More Stuffles.
I recall you ranked them last place, right?
No, I ranked them actually first.
You what?
The Stuffles?
I thought you ranked like the Laxes or Laprases first.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you ranked the Stuffles, last.
No, I didn't rank the Stuffles last. I ranked them like pretty highly.
Oh.
So yeah, it was very shocking to me that they are very much struggling this BLT so far, and yeah, it's kind of unfortunate considering this is a team with high expectations. I guess I placed them really highly. First off, SVOU, we got Tyr versus Yone. Cinderace tried to court change Hazard away on turn 12, but was met by an earthquake in response, costing major support damage for the time there. Blissey surviving multiple blizzard hits from the Terra Ice Kyurem, really proving that usefulness. And in the end, Tyr's Ogerpon carried him for most of the game, using Swords Dance at crucial points, even after dodging a Focus Blast miss from Darkrai to Ivy Cudgel the rest of Yone's team for Tyr to win the game. Any other comments? That Terragrass Ivy Cudgel was scary. And it didn't even need...
Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to your explanation because I was trying to find your rankings on the commencement thread, but I guess you never...
I did.
Oh, right, they're on week 1.
They're on the video,
right.
Duh. But yeah, that Ivy Cudgel was scary. That Ivy Cudgeling Terragrass Ogerpon, kind of scary. And Tyr just really played it to his advantage and ultimately won. Even if there was the scare of the Iron Defense, Zamazenta on Yone's side, really didn't do much.
Yeah, it did not.
Boom. Ivy Cudgel for the win for Tyr Acid. Next up, Enzo versus TDNT, which was... This one was the last game that was played for this week.
I don't know if it was actually the last game, but it was the last posted because he didn't make the win post until I told Bliahe to tell him to do it.
Yeah. Well, it was the last posted game, so I'm going to say it's the last game played. Enzo dominated the first half of this game using Ursaluna to immediately defeat Tinglu before a hazard stack was imminent. And TDNT didn't really utilize his Dragonite well. Really just used it as...
Can we talk about how that was a Rocky Helmet Tinglu?
Why? Is that notable? I don't see the...
Yes.
Really? Thought most people would carry Tinglu.
You don't usually see that.
Really? I thought most people would carry freaking Rocky Helmet Tinglu. It's just a natural freaking thing to have it on Tinglu.
I mean, it's a pretty physically bulky mon, but it's mainly known for its special bulk, I'll put in quotes.
As Vessel of Ruin?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, again, Dragonite was really used as cannon fodder before dropping to Ogerpon. Things turned around at turn 24. After surviving on Earth Power, Terra Poison Darkrai flinched Heatran with Dark Pulse, giving TDNT the edge for the rest of the game, despite having lesser mons at that point.
Yeah, that was a pretty major... Oh yeah, I feel like at some point, TDNT just started getting pretty lucky with moves missing and the flinch, of course.
Yeah. He took advantage of a lot of Enzo's shortcomings there. Especially when it comes to the later part of this game. He setting up his Goldango well after dodging a Magma Storm. The Magma Storm missed, and then TDNT used the Goldango to hex Heatran out of there. And then it just kind of carried him through the rest of the game, beating down the Zamazenta and Ogerpon before dropping into Ursaluna, who then Darkrai countered it to beat it in order to win.
Yep. The flinch and the miss, those were pretty crucial.
Next up, we got Ice Master versus FC in SV Ubers. Ice Master got off to a pretty hot start, predicting the Zacian switch in to immediately OHKO it with Flare Blitz on turn 3, and predicting a Draco Meteor from Miraidon by switching into Grimmsnarl.
Yeah, I agree. Ice Master played the beginning of the game quite well.
It did. He put FC on the ropes, really proving that masterclass. And FC's not FC's not an easy opponent to predict against. So Ice Master did a really good job there. Zacian then got...
Not gonna lie, it surprised me when FC hard switched in Zacian to the Koraidon. I was fully expecting a Flare Blitz to come off from the Koraidon, but I guess it makes sense that it might, Scale Shot.
Yeah,
and I guess that's what FC expected.
Yeah, Scale Shot to try and get some speed up, so Zacian kind of walls it. But yeah, that was a very unfortunate misfire from FC at that point. Zacian then kind of got a crit on Gliscor, netting Ice more of an advantage as FC failed to double protect with it, necessitating that sack.
That crit really bad.
That crit really bad. And then Ice Master bringing a really, really unique set for Miraidon. Solar Beam against the Tinglu.
Yep, it's something I've seen a couple times recently.
But it works. It works.
Yeah, and it's mainly for Tinglu.
It's mainly for Tinglu, which FC kind of lost to it. And then in the end, it was physical Arc Ground behind the light screen, beating out the special Arc Water, winning the game for Ice Master.
Yep.
Very good win. And yeah, I did predict Ice Master to win against FC, but didn't expect the way that Ice would win.
It was a good game.
Good game. Very good game. What was kind of the opposite of a good game, a very bog standard UU game. Chogba versus Career Ended.
I don't even know what happened in this.
It was very boring. It was a bog standard UU game. Yeah, Chogba got pretty much the upper hand on Career, but he got the early burn on Iron Crown, getting residual damage in, as well as using Regenerator to its full advantage by constantly switching to keep the pressure going, with Excadrill and Terrakion playing their parts well as a rapid speed tank and a breaker. Yeah, it was a very boring game. Nothing really eventful happened. Nothing really shocking happened. It was just kind of very, very standard, and Chogba just picked up the win.
I feel like Career Ended was like kind of outplaying at first.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Trogba just kind of, I don't know, did Greer Ended start playing worse, or did Trogba start playing better? I don't know.
Drogba was kind of playing the same way that he did in the first parts, I feel. Which was very passive, which was not very passively, it was very standard. It was just a very, very standard level of play. Alright, next up, 0-2 Ars9, losing to Ampha. 0-2 Ars9.
Oh my gosh.
0-2 Ars9, like, never thought the day would happen that Ars9 would have a bad start to BLT, but here we are. However, in this game in particular, Ars9 was kind of off to a great start. His Empoleon was heavily tripping the Cyclizar.
The game I was thinking of, in which one person is playing much better but then still loses.
So, Ars9 was off to a great start. Empoleon heavily chipped the Cyclizar after rapid spinning its hazards, and it got good damage against the Thundurus. That was good. And Emerson Gengar continued the momentum, with the former Terra stealing and beating both Moltres and getting Terrakion to low, and the latter tricking Cyclizar's Scarf for Assault Vest, and Lumberry fixing Terrakion's burn scars against Slowbro. So yeah, Ars9 doing pretty well for himself in the first part. Then things just kind of started shifting on turn 33, where Ampha's Cyclizar crits Ars's Cyclizar for the kill, as I'll show you right now. Like right there, that U-turn crit forced it for the kill. And Empoleon couldn't kill the Hippowdon at its range, succumbing to its Earthquake later, which was really unfortunate. Psychic Noise play on turn 37 just kind of sealed the deal for Ampha. Gengar would then die to Sandstorm, leaving Ars with a low health Terrakion, which Ampha used Facade on Cyclizar to win the game.
Yeah, it felt like Ars9 was outplaying for like most of the game, but then he just kept failing to pick up kills, and Ampha was not failing to do that.
Yeah, it just kind of started playing, outsmarted Ars9 at certain points, and well, Ars9 had a real hard time, getting that mindset in and getting those wins in, those pretty critical wins in order to, get himself an advantage. And yeah, it was ultimately cost him at the end.
Also, can we talk about the nicknames Ampha had?
Yes. You are my special. It was full of anime OPs, if you couldn't tell.
Yes, I'm pretty sure literally all of them are popular anime openings. And I can name which ones are from what.
Yeah.
We obviously know what Lost in Paradise is.
Yep, and Special
What's
Z.
Gurren no Yumiya?
Attack on Titan!
Oh, makes sense.
And the rest
You know what Golden Time Lover is? Because I know which one that is.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yep, that's it. The third intro.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is Cyclizar based on?
What was the end? Again?
No, its name is Period.
Oh. It's Full Metal Alchemist. I think it was the OG one. 2003 one.
Oh.
Yeah,
why do you know that?
because I listened to it, okay? It's a very catchy opening. Anyway, Ampha win.
And then there was Again, and then Special Z.
Yeah,
Lamab and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Alright, you want my special? Let's move on now to Danny versus Slip, where the real star of the show was the Terra Poison Belly Bolt. Oh my god, this thing was bulky as frick. Unkillable Belly Bolt, proving to be quite the useful tank, if I do say so myself, because it resisted Muck's Drain Punch attempts while using Muddy Water to try and lower accuracy as much as possible for the beginning part. And yeah, throughout the most of the game, Danny just kind of played this a little too stall-oriented, but it was very consistent. While Slip just keeps trying to get predictive a good switch, only to be met by status or giving off attacks for his mons to continuously lose health slowly. Yeah, he just gave in to things like Leech Seed, Wo Chien, or just kind of costing him a lot of health problems. Yeah, getting knockoffs here from Reuniclus, and then Sarina kept losing damage and whatnot. It was just very unfortunately played by Slip, and Danny just kept the pressure on him, kind of stalling him at points, but yeah. Even Terra Steel Thunderous wasn't a good enough breaker for Reuniclus and Belly Bolt, who soundly beat it via. And in the end, Flygon Outrage and Wo Chien against Slowbro in the field was good enough for Danny to secure that win.
Yep.
Good win for Danny. Really good win for Danny. Next up, Eternal Ocean versus Sufis. And the winner for very Tours game match of the week goes to... Because this game really felt like it was just two random ass Tours players playing a room tour game.
Wow, that actually sounds insulting.
Sorry, just telling it like it is. Skuntank Wars happened though in the beginning, with Sufis barely beating out Oceans via lucky gunk shot miss, taking it down with it via the aftermath, which is okay, I guess. And then, the Terra Dragon Sandaconda became the MVP in this game, setting up with Coil and Scale Shot enough for the sweep. Only needed to switch out once against the Terra Fairy Electrode Hisui, but once that was taken apart by Flamigo, it came back to set up once more, remove its toxic status via Shed Skin, and basically outpowered Tauros to win the game. It wasn't very hard, but it was very expected that Eternal Ocean would win.
Yep.
Next up, Quinn versus Blehe. Another very unremarkable game. This one felt like another room tours game between both of these guys.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but one of those guys is a tours room regular who, yeah.
Yeah, like, ain't that the truth? Well, again, that's why it was pretty unremarkable, to be honest. Both players I just didn't like this game. I really did. I didn't feel like both players were very impressive. I don't think both players were really playing to their best. Basically, it just left off to chance. Blehe got a poison off of Mienfoo and Volabai before just getting the lucky flinches off of Glamette before his own...
Oh yeah, isn't this the game in which there were 3 flinches in a row or something crazy?
I think it might have, but yeah, that's why it was left to chance, because 1 flinch on Glamette, 2 flinches on Glamette, and then died, and then 3 flinches on the Volabai. So yeah, and then the Terra Dark Glamette just came in, win against Quinn. It was unremarkable. It wasn't very impressive. But hey, good on Blehe for picking up another win. Or no, this is his first win.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
Wait, is?
Yeah, it is. Alright.
Oh.
Next up, Railgun versus Akaru Kokuyo. Okay. This game had some very interesting strats. Especially coming off the side of Akaru here. Sunny Day Tornadus and Ivy Cudgel Ogerpon just utterly destroy the Iron Hands.
And a crit on top of that. Talk about overkill.
It was an overkill. It seemed that Akaru had the clear advantage, having Chin Pao and King Gambit on the field with a boosted Defiant stat and speed on their side, because Tailwind. However, the Iron Crowns Booster Energy and Tachyon Cutter and Expanding Force moveset were just very effective. Too effective, in fact, for Akaru to handle, as it killed Chien Pao and Tornadus while Landorus sashed it out. With an
Hey,
Ivy
it wasn't just that. You gotta remember, it had multiple Mons using Follow Me to direct attacks away from it.
Yeah, and that had Railgun to his advantage and was used very well at that point. While Lando just kept chipping away, it was just getting followed by the Ogre Pawn at that point. Tachyon Cutter was very, very useful. And then, the Lander sashed out the Ivy Cudgel to kill the Ogre Pawn with Earth Power. And then Landorus and Tornadus just kind of teamed up at the end to kill the King Gambit and the Glamora on the final turn. Nice win for Railgun.
Yeah.
And then finally, we got Siphicon versus Tenebricide. Now, at the start of this, Tenebricide, I feel like, had the really hard time at the beginning because he played around Gliscor kind of weirdly. After Blood Moon, Ursaluna failed to get the early KO on it, and then protecting against Mamoswine a bunch early.
You see, McCoy, the way he played around it like he did is because you can't use Blood Moon 2 turns in a row.
Yeah, the Vacuum Wave. I mean, sure, not using Blood Moon again was okay, I get that, but Vacuum Wave? At that range?
What? The only other thing he has is Earth Power, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, didn't have another...
Can't hit it. So he just wanted to hit it at least.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, maybe could have just switched it out into Mamoswine at that turn when he couldn't use Blood Moon.
Yeah,
again.
That's true. He probably could have afforded to switch it out earlier.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty clear that he wasn't gonna be able to do much since it could just protect whenever it Blood Moons.
Yeah. Things though did start to come around after the Excadrill war on turn 13, where Tenebricide had to pick up momentum as soon as possible. Landorus killing the Gliscor with Psychic on turn 22 was a good enough start, so that was very good. In the end, Tenebricide won the matchup using Lando at the last minute to beat Choice Great Tusk and Blood Moon Ursaluna for the win.
Yep.
Good on Tenebricide for winning. Alright. Well, that wraps up the recap on week 2. PokeArt, please announce the predicts winner.
Okay. Since there were so many upsets this week, no one, and I mean basically everyone who predicted in general, no one did super well this week.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, half the people who predicted, I think 6 people total predicted, by the way, half of those people scored under half.
Yeah, it was very bad.
The worst we got this week scored under a third.
Yeesh.
And no, it was not me.
It was building up to something.
Anyways, so the person who did best between us and best in the week overall was McCoy again.
Mm-hmm.
His score was not actually that hindered compared to last week. He got 30 out of 40 last week, 26 out of 40 this week.
I was being the betting man for most of these, and I won!
Yeah, and I should probably mention that in second place for overall of the week was Max Predicts.
When Mac...
His meme predicts.
When Mac does better than the actual, logical, predicts you got going on here, when the meme predicts scored higher better than you best do something with those predicts, why don't you?
when the meme predicts score better than almost everyone in the week, you know it's been quite a week.
Week 2, proving to be upsetting to even predicts land. By the way, how many did you get?
I don't want to say.
Go on, it's not that bad compared to other people.
No, I scored second worst, Mikoi.
Oh. That's fine. At least you're not the one who got the freaking under a third.
Yeah.
She got 13 out of 30.
Yeah, I think I wonder how serious those predicts were.
Well, you do better this
Some of
week
them
then.
were actually pretty questionable.
Well, you do better
Even
this
by
week.
this
then.
week's logic.
Ugh. Alright then. Well, do better this week. And speaking of, let's predict week 3, shall we? It won't be long.
Okay.
It won't be long.
But wait, I'm pretty hungry. Are you sure?
First off, the Phantom Trout versus the Flame Slinger Skeleturges. Get your predict sheet ready, Pokeart, because get ready to know. First off, SVOU. Botsy versus JJ. Finally, a JJ. What were you gonna say?
I think it's pretty obvious who we're both gonna predict here.
Finally, a JJ game that we can actually predict before he gets it off first blood.
True.
But yeah, we're picking JJ to win.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, JJ doing better than Bot. I feel, even though Botsy's doing great, I think JJ's just above him. Next up, SVOU, we got 3D versus Avidus, and yes, Avidus is playing OU.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who's in PU then?
Well, it's Blood Ace, but
Oh, that's it. Oh, neat. We'll get to see them play.
Yep. But Avidus versus 3D, this one is actually very, very close, I'd say, because both players, 3D is a competent OU player, and Avidus is just goated at everything. So I don't know who to pick. Who do you think?
I'm going 3D.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with my betting man instincts, and I'm gonna pick Avidus. No hate towards 3D. I think they're gonna do fine, but I think Avidus will take it. All right. Next up, SV Ubers highlight match. People, this is a highlight match. 7U9I2 versus Sky U. Very good players battling it out, ladies and gentlemen. Both of them are 2-0 right now, and they're doing really impressive. So I'm really excited to see how this matchup turns out. Who are you picking, Pokeart?
7U9I2.
In that case, I think I'm going Sky U. I think it's time we get the Uber Circuit champion to take it down a notch. I think Sky U is the better player of the two, in all honesty.
Really?
Yeah. I've been more impressed with his performances than 7U's, even though he did kind of dominate the last 2 weeks. I think Sky U's gonna take this one.
Okay.
Alright, next up, SVUU. Another very interesting match here. We got Riche versus Just Drew.
Ooh, I'd say that's even more of a highlight.
It's a close one. These two are very, very great UU players, and seeing them together here, that's gonna be a really tough one to call. I think I'm gonna go with Riche. How about you?
I feel like this could really go either way.
I won't be surprised if the other wins.
You know what? We've kept this trend of going with the opposite for the past 2. I'll go Drew.
Okay, fair. This is very competition heavy. This is a very competitive freaking lineup we have, ladies and gentlemen. SVRU, we got Just Franco versus Fellyburn. Well, I know we I know we've been kind of disagreeing on most of these so far, but I think this one we can have an agreement here. I think Franco's gonna win.
I also think Franco's going to win. You're right.
Yeah, Franco is ultimately the better player here than Fellyburn. Fellyburn had a good defeat again, but just Franco got screwed. But I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah, that was a very, very bad matchup.
SVNU, we got Stories versus Actrotix. Another really close one. Man, the Trout versus Dirges are highlight after highlight after highlight. It's great. Both are very great NU players. This one's again really close to call. I think I'm gonna go with Stories. Yeah, I'll go Stories.
I'm also going Stories.
Really? I thought you were gonna go for Actrotix. Then again,
No, I agree. Stories is probably better here.
Alright, SVPU, we got Lost Memories versus Blood Ace.
Ooh, two players who haven't played yet.
Yeah, and they're playing PU, which is a very interesting tier. I've heard a lot of people talk about Blood Ace very highly, so I think
I haven't heard many people talk about Lost Memories very highly, but I faced them personally. They're definitely pretty good.
Alright, so this is a very interesting one. I think I'm gonna go with Blood Ace on this one.
I think I'll also go with Blood Ace, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lost Memories wins simply due to outplaying.
Okay. SVLC, we got Starzama versus Tempo. This would have been very close had Tempo won last week, but unfortunately that loss last week to Blie was pretty bad, so
didn't Tempo lose to Genisu?
Oh, Genisu, sorry. Yeah,
which is actually worse.
Which is worse. Starzama beat Hacker last week. I think he's gonna roll the momentum. Go Starzama. He's gonna win.
Yeah, I'm also going Starzama without question.
Turning to be quite the breakout star for LC. We'll see. We'll
the
see
breakout star.
Ha 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 ha. SVDOU. We got Aragon versus Exotic. Who's making
what?
Okay, that's very curious. It is a very curious matchup, but so Aragon's gonna fight personally Exotic is a doubles player. He did compete in the DOU seasonal.
Oh.
But this is still Aragon. By a mile.
Yeah, I'm also going Aragon.
SV Monotype, we got Royal Reloaded versus Twinkie. Mono is mono. I'm very well aware of that. Both players coming off of pretty strong performances, I'd say. But personally, Royals was better last week than Twinkie, but I still think I'm gonna go with Twinkie.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, you might call me crazy, but I think I'm actually gonna go Royal Reloaded.
I don't blame you, especially from what he did last week.
Yeah, true. He had to play well to win that.
And play well he did, very impressively.
No, I guess he did get a little lucky at some points in the game, but that I'd say it was still mostly attributed to him playing well.
He still ratioed the frick in his game against Mata, so good job. Next up, we got the Resort City Rufflets versus the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes. Finally, the past two-time BLT champions face off.
That's true. This is gonna be good.
This is gonna be good, gonna be close.
A little scary, but good.
SVOU, we got Maverick Shooters coming back to take on Ferenia. I feel awful for Ferenia. So again, Going 0-2 so far has been pretty unlucky. Ferenia's he's kind of having a losing streak right now, and I don't think it's gonna go bad anytime soon because I'm picking Maverick Shooters to win.
Oof.
Yeah. Mav did impress me.
Ferenia, but like obviously I can't root against my own teammate.
Yeah.
Look, Ferenia, I'll root for you once you're not facing us.
We'll see about that. SVOU, we got VK versus Mimikyu Stardust. A potential sleeper pick here for match of the week. Both players have proven to be very good at OU.
And both players are OU mod, I think, or staff in the OU room, at least.
This one's going to be very close. I've seen both of them play, and I haven't faced Mimikyu Stardust, but I have played VK enough to know that he's very good at the OUs. I think I'm going VK. But only slightly.
Thank you.
SV Ubers, Richard Millie Plain versus Genius from Hoenn. So is this the time I predict for Hoenn Septile to win?
No.
Of course not. Of course not. I'm not a lazy bum. I'm going Richard all the way. Alright, next up, SVUU, Piyush versus Mimi Lucha. I know Fragment said that Piyush has a bad habit of beating mainers in their traditional game. But come on, I still gotta go with the traditionalist here. I'm going Mimi Lucha to win.
Dang, why are you choosing something that's bound to be wrong?
But it's a traditionalist, man. I just know Mimi Lucha can even play amidst the surprising number of games. I know Piyush has surprised us before, especially last week against Thiago Nunes. But, if he loses, call it an upset. Not an upset, actually. Call it a not upset, if you will.
Also, I think now you see who our quote-unquote UU main is.
Go Piyush. Go Piyush.
It was always meant to be Piyush. Believe that or not.
Alright. Well, let's see if he can win against potentially one of the greatest UU players we'll ever see here. Next up, Tanish versus Arcanine 1929 in SVRU. So is this going to be a 100-0 matchup in Arcanine's favor yet again?
Nah.
You sure? You sure? He beat
Yeah.
Franco. He beat Franco.
Arcanine's scared of Lime. Immediate loss.
Immediate loss. Alright, go Lime. Put in Lime.
Lime wanted to right freaking now him, but he refused.
Yeah, he's scared.
He refused knowing what he would bring, too.
Oof. Kind of intimidate. He used intimidate on Arcanine. Alright, next up, SVNU, Wadley versus Skier Dude. Again, very cut and dry predict here. Wadley's been doing great. Skier Dude has been doing okay. I'm going Wadley.
Don't worry, I already typed it in.
SVPU, TGA versus Druid. This one should be interesting, I think. Both players are looking pretty good. Both players are looking pretty solid. As much as I would like to go for the gaming attack, though, Druid's been hella impressing us a lot more than expected. Going 2-0 right now in SVPU. Druid to win.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that.
SVLC, we got Elfusion versus Hacker. Another potential sleeper for a highlight match of the week. Both players looking pretty good, looking pretty, but where's Elfusion now? 2-0?
Yeah, he's 2-0.
And Hacker is 1-1?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going Hacker. Sorry.
Even though his performance last week was lackluster, and his performance in week 1 was also kind of lackluster.
Yeah, despite the fact that his performances were kind of mid so far, Elfusion's been doing wonderful. I think I'm going Hacker, just on the merits that I think, comparatively speaking, against both of them, if you put both of them against each other in LC, I think Hacker is going to be the better player. Anyway, next up we got Loud Winner versus the Cheesin' One. Alright, Loud Winner. You've had Aragon, then you had SMB. Now you get to face the old head in I Want Atago to sit on you.
Arguably, this is the easiest matchup so far, but that isn't saying much given the previous two.
Yeah. You think I was gonna predict Loud Winner, huh? No, I think Cheese will win.
Man, Cheese went positive last year because I gave him really good scouts, but oh how the tables turn.
Yeah, well, time to counteract that with Loud Winner, Pokehard. Why don't you out-scout your scout?
I'm not sure if I even need to.
Loudy.
I know how Cheese builds.
Get ready for some cheese on cheese. Alright. SP Mana type, we got Dunox versus Mana. Well, Dunox got an unfavorable matchup last week, which was unfortunate. Mana also was kind of screwed last week, but this time in terms of plays. So this one should go either way. I think I'm gonna go with Mata here, but only slightly.
Understandable. Dunox has had a rough season so far.
Yeah.
But he may bounce back.
He might. Just give him a
Not sure what he plans on bringing yet.
Yeah, just give him a good mono
hopefully
team.
It's something good.
Give him a good mono team, and he'll play to his advantage. Alright, next up, the Lore Society versus the Primal Power Pangoros. You get to predict again, okay? Alright, first off, we got SVOU, Tear Acid versus Suzia. And guess who won?
Suzia?
No, he was already bolded. Tear Acid actually won.
Oh, wait, what? When did
they
play?
They played an hour before Polo's game. And they didn't link it.
They what?
Yeah. I wonder if Tournaments is gonna keep this I'm not high on Tear Acid energy when I farm their tours every time. Or you could just play better than Suzia, which you did, and ultimately won.
Oh my god, you're right.
I would have predicted Suzia in that case, so I'll take the L there, but yeah.
Yeah, I was also going to predict Suzia.
So
Guess we're taking the L.
We're taking the L. SVOU, we got Enzo Nana versus Beleth.
Who's Beleth again?
I don't know. Pretty. I've heard around the blocks that he's a pretty solid OU main, but I think Enzo Nana's gained enough experience, even though he's 0-2 right now.
He is 0-2, yes.
Yeah, even though he's 0-2, I know. I think he's got the experience. I think he's got enough experience so he can learn how to play better in OU. So I think I'm going to Enzo Nana on this one.
This is hard because I don't really know Beleth.
Who are you picking then?
I don't know. I'm not super high on Enzo Nana's performances in this pool, but I don't know Beleth.
Yeah, it's a hard predict, isn't it?
Oh, what the hell. I'll go Enzo Nana, too. He doesn't seem bad.
He's not bad. SV Ubers, we got two Absols facing off as Ice Master versus Ainscrad is the matchup. Good.
I already saw them schedule.
You did? When will they play?
Let me check. They actually scheduled in the Absols.
As you may know, Ice Master and Boyne, two good friends of ours. Been around since the Tours Plaza days. Both of them kind of upping their game recently.
They're playing at 2 p.m. plus 1 on Sunday, I think.
Oh, great. A nighttime play. Can't wait to see that. I think I'm gonna go with Ice Master. I think the win against FC really pushed him to win.
Yeah, I already typed in Ice Master for both of us.
Yeah. SVUU, you got Trogba versus Jawabarat. So, yeah.
Both
Trogba.
of these guys are 2-0, right?
I think both these guys are 2-0, yes. Oh, no.
Wait, no.
No,
Jawabarat
Jawabarat.
faced.
No, Jawabarat was 1-1. He's 1-1. I think, yeah. Despite the fact, yeah, we've been pretty hard on Trogba because week 1 he kind of lucked you in your match, and then
Oh, he did so hard.
and then week 2 it was kind of bog standard. I was neither impressed nor disimpressed with Trogba. He was just kind of eh. Meanwhile, Jawar Barat actually performed pretty well in his game against Drew, so I think I'm gonna go with Jawar Barat on this one.
Yeah, the fact that that Drew claimed he had a good matchup, but Jawabarat just played better.
It's highly speaks for himself. Jawar Barat to win.
Yep, I have it too.
SVRU, we got Ampha versus Fiend. What a way for Ampha to go. First facing Arsenine and then now facing Fiend. Although, they beat Arsenine last week, and Fiend beat Fellyburn.
Yes, but first he lost to Meme Dose.
That's right. So, I think I'm gonna go with Fiend.
I'm also going with Fiend.
Fiend's been doing pretty well for himself. SVNU, we got Danny versus Shinjineer. Both are I think 2-0 as well.
What
or no.
did you just say?
Oh no. Danny lost week 1 and won week 2. Shinjineer is the one who's 2-0.
Odds are that'll be Danny's only loss, but yes.
So are we saying to go to Danny to win?
Yeah, assuming Shinjineer doesn't get lucky again.
Yeah, I think I'm going Danny as well. Like, Shinjineer can't be lucky all the time, but boys. SVPU, we got Eternal Ocean versus Fish Enemy Meter. Yeah, this one's gonna be pretty easy, I think. Fish to win. SVLC, Quinn versus Greedy. Well, yeah, this is kind of tough. Both players haven't exactly been doing hot. Greedy lost in terrible fashion week 1, got benched in week 2, while Quinn has had a pretty rough LC start in this pool so far. I think I'm going
Greedy.
I think I'm going Quinn. I think
Really?
Yeah, I think Quinn will try to bounce back here against Greedy, who hasn't been doing the best as of late.
Dang, I went Greedy.
Okay, that's fair. I could see Greedy winning as well. If he manages to play better, then yes, Greedy will win. SPDOU, we got Railgun versus Panther.
Railgun.
Yeah. Railgun's been doing amazingly this season so far, so I think this should be a pretty cut and dry win for Railgun to win. Should be interesting when he faces Aragon later, or SMB, but we'll see later. SV Monotype, we got Siphicon versus Azik. These are 2 good friends of yours, PokeArt, so...
You can't seriously expect me to bold against Azik in mono.
Of course not. Sorry, Siffy, but you're facing a really good opponent here. Azik has been just kind of tearing up the mono pool like he did last year. So, yes, Azik to win. Alright, finally, we got the Snowbell Stuffles versus the Lavender Laprases. SVOU, TDNT versus Thiago Nunes, already happened.
Yep, Thiago won.
I would have still gone for Thiago, to be honest.
As would I.
SVOU, we got Career Ended versus Starreal. Interesting, Career finally moves up to OU. Finally, after playing UU. Not doing the hottest there, but hopefully this could be a good chance to bounce back. OU style. But he's against Starreal, who's been doing pretty well for himself. So, I think they should
Yeah,
be pretty.
Sterile seems to be doing quite well lately.
Finally, am I right?
He recently won, what do you call those? Do you know, S Tour Season 36, whatever it is?
Yeah, the season.
Where every week, you play a different gen of OU.
I'm aware.
And it's like, it all happens at, it's kind of like a live tour type of thing, I think. Where, basically, you just play.
Yeah, you just play OU a lot.
You just play. There's no week of prep. You just do it the whole thing at a time.
And Sterile won that, I believe.
Yeah, Sterile won one of those recently.
So yeah, I think Sterile's making a real comeback to SVOU. He's gonna win here as well. I think Sterile will do amazingly here.
I agree.
SV Ubers, we got FC versus Terracotta. Yeah, Terracotta didn't do exactly impress last week, so FC?
FC.
FC. SVUU, we got Udon Girl versus Ziri.
That's a hype match.
That is a hype match. I wish Udon Girl will do better than they did last year, because my god, they were really, really unfortunate last year. Ziri has been doing somewhat tepid as of recently. Even though they did pick up a win last week, their week 1 performance was really unlucky. So Udon Girl's gonna have to work if he wants to beat a goated player like Snow Janeri. So who do you say? Who do you say to win here?
I say Ziri, because Ziri is goated.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ziri as well. I think it's... Sorry, Udon Girl. You might start off 0-1, but I hope you do better. Alright, SVRU. Another hype matchup. The Franklin versus Temp.
Ooh.
One of the best
Like this could go either way.
One of the best players of the best player of SVRU versus one of the best builders of SVRU, if I may be frank, Lynn. So, yeah, I think Ars9's gonna win. In terms of skill, Ars9 wins, but in terms of build, Temp wins. I think I'm gonna go Ars9.
Okay. Me too.
Even though he's 0-2 right now, he can't possibly go 0-3. Can he? And now that
I hope not.
And now that I say that, Ars9 will go 0-3. Trust.
You jinxed him, Mikoi.
Trust.
Can't believe you did this.
SVNU, we got Ming549 versus Swinub Fan.
Who's Ming again?
Ming is a lower tiers main, if I recall correctly, and I think he did well in I think it was an NU seasonal, or if not an RU seasonal. He did quite well. I think he made the top 16, I believe.
That's pretty good.
Buddies against Team Charm is a tried and true NU main, and they did pick up a win in week 1, and week 2 they kind of struggled a bit against Wadley. So yeah, but
it's Wadley.
It is Wadley, and I think, in all honesty, I'm gonna go with Team Charm yet again this week.
Me too.
Even though I know Ming can play well, we'll see about that. SVP, we got Let's Rumble Shall We versus Prince of All Tacos. It's interesting. Pote is still playing PU?
Yeah, huh.
I really expected Rafna and Pote to switch here, but...
Yeah, why are they not letting Rafna into there? He seemed to like playing PU during quals.
Yeah, and I think if Rafna versus Hellray was gonna be the matchup, I would have predicted Rafna in a heartbeat, but no, this is Pote playing. Yeah, picking Hellray, to be quite honest.
Me too, although I'm not super confident about it. Hellray is better in NU and RU. I feel.
Yeah. But PU seems to be, he's just kind of that lower tiers, like average mainers. He will win though against Pote. SVLC, we got Blehe versus Ariosto, which actually happened 2 hours ago by the time this recording. Polo won.
It was not 2 hours ago.
5 hours ago. Sorry. The Polo won, which was expected. I would have gotten Polo. I would have gotten for Polo.
Yeah, I was also predicting for Polo.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
I think he's just better, the better player here.
Yeah, I think Polo was better here, and he did prove it. Next up, SVDOU, Akaru versus SMB. Clearly, this played last year. I remember this being played last year, and Akaru I think won that.
Oh wow.
So, should lightning strike twice?
Maybe.
It's got potential. I think both players are actually 2-0 right now. Or is Akaru 1-1?
No. Didn't Akaru lose last week?
Oh yeah, Akaru did lose last week against Railgun. Yeah, I think this one should be SMB's game. However, I will not be surprised if Akaru wins. I'll be
Funny
frank.
you say that. I predicted Akaru.
Whoa! The Poke Art is actually predicting against Sableye My Bay. Care to explain?
Well, I think SMB is just not in top form, like in years previous, or gens previous, I guess. I think Akaru is better at this gen of DOU.
Okay. I can fully agree to that. I'm still going with the GOAT, SMB, because, you never predict against SMB unless you're a better mainer, which Akaru you can argue that he is. So, yeah. SV Monotype, last one, we got Tenebricite versus Rafna. Again.
Oh, so that's where they're slotting Rafna.
Yeah, they're playing Rafna in Monotype. If this was Tenebricite versus Pote, this would be very easy, but this one, I feel like it is easy, but it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how Rafna
does. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Rafna does play mono as well.
Which will be very interesting to see. I'm still gonna go with my boy Tenebricite here.
Pretty sure Rafna has the top 100 on the monotype ladder, just saying.
Which is good. I'm still gonna go with Tenebricite.
Yeah, I'll go with Tenebricite too.
Sorry, Rafna.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rafna wins. I mean, since it's mono and all.
It is mono and all, which will be interesting. And that, I say, this court is adjourned. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you wouldn't miss a video once they come out. Next week, we'll cover Week 3 recap, and we'll start with the Week 4 predicts.
Yep.
Alright, thank you so much for watching. This has been McCoy, signing out.
Goodbye.